Thank you. So it's absolutely great that we're being joined today by Emma Myatt, Gaynor Dodds and Shelley Walker. And Gaynor and Shelley are curriculum team leaders, and Emma is the assessor, integral parts of the cogs that make assignment 2 work so effectively at the RNN Group. That's, I'll have to look at my notes for this, Rotherham, North Knott and the Dearne Valley. So welcome and thank you so much for being part of our conversation today. We are going to be looking at assignment 2 and preparation for that, especially with the competencies as we get our students ready. So we'll look through a series of questions and chat through those, and just please tell us everything that you know and everything that you've experienced. I'm just going to pass over to Laura now, because Laura, I know you've worked with these lovely ladies, haven't you? And anything you can share just to get us going, that would be brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you, Janet. Yeah, so Laura Upshur, I'm one of the moderators based in Yorkshire and Humber, and I was appointed as RNN's assessor, moderator, sorry, this time working with Emma, the assessor. And as we went out for assignment 2, part 2, we did have a little chat about EYE part 1 that's coming up and the increase in the competencies. And it was really good to hear how Emma had started that and approached it with such positivity. And I thought, oh, I'd really like to share what you've done at your college, share wider with the assessor network about how you've approached it. So thank you for joining us today. And I just would like to talk about how you've approached your EYE competencies with the Year 1 students that are about to go into Year 2 in September, and tell us a little bit more about your role play setting and how you're supporting students' confidence levels ahead of the live assessments. Is that all right? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. We've set up a nursery environment within the classroom where students plan and set up different areas, so e.g. reading, sensory, role play, nappy changing, carry out health and safety risk assessments, plan activities, do observations. We have an online system called Tapestry where students will observe another student doing an observation. They'll then obviously link it to the EYFS, and they'll practice doing 2-year checks on there, formative assessments. So we keep it as an inclusive practice, obviously for different ages of children. So obviously from 0 to 7, well, 0 to 5, and then extending it to up to 7. And it supports the competencies in an enable environment. And some of the things that we do, obviously, in the nursery is practical tasks and observations. So as I've just said, they'll carry out observations and they'll add them onto the online app because that's what they'll be doing in real life. The students have enjoyed doing podcasts. So we've done podcasts on where they'll share experiences from settings. So for example, they'll talk about the is my child too ill for school, and they'll talk about what settings have got what for different policies for that. They'll talk about partnership with parents, how each setting will meet that, and then they'll all sit and talk together to create the podcast, and then it's a different experience from a different setting of how each settings do what. We do role play and simulation activities, and we'll do, for example, for that one, we can have a parent come to the setting, which is a student, and a student will have to explain if the child's done something, or a parent can come and say that they think the child needs help in different areas.
Oh, sorry, I was going to say what we're aiming to try and make this feel real, to have the students have those experiences before they actually go out into placement, to have their voices heard amongst the peer group, which really, really helps. And as well with the ESP and the assessments there, we're trying to bridge that gap, aren't we?
Absolutely.
But we're focusing mainly on skills development, so they can meet their competencies in when it matters.
A lot of it is about building the confidence so they're able to speak in front of people, and feel confident to do that with their peer groups, which, like Gaynor said, helps with that ESP process as well. So we do some things in small groups, but we also do some things in the full group where they take roles of different different practitioners, different outside agencies, and it helps bring that real experience and the knowledge that they've also learned into a real life scenario where they really get the teeth into some of the scenarios and they get really immersed in it.
You had a good one, didn't you, Emma, when you did when you had the fake drinking?
Yes, so for like for one of the competencies, obviously on whistleblowing, I brought an empty alcoholic drink in, just filled it with water, and we all sat down on the bean bags, and I just got this alcoholic drink, which was water, and started pretending to drink it. And one student said, "Should you be drinking?" And they were like, "Oh no, it's all right. I've just been to the pub for my lunch," and carried on drinking it. And then another student said, "No, she shouldn't be drinking." So then we flipped it and said, "Right, there's posters on the side. Let's whistle blow. What do we need to do?" So each student had a role. And they had to obviously act upon that role, to filling in forms, to reporting it to management. And then we had a staff member up in the office who was pretending to be Lado, so they fed back scenarios, obviously, of that situation, rigging Lado up as well.
They've loved it all.
They have, yeah,
they've
really
embraced what this project that we've done. Really embraced it.
And can you really see how the confidence has come on already? So when you're going back out into settings, Emma, and you're seeing the students in setting, are they showing that they're competent in particular areas, what you've covered?
Yes, there's one student in particular, when you just said that, pops into my head. So when I first went out for the holistic visit, you know, just to get used to obviously coming out to setting, she was so quiet. And so the mentor for her said that she was really quiet and she needs to obviously come out of a shell, but it'll come in time. And when I've recently saw her, she's just absolutely amazing. She's asking to be involved in observations. She's asking to be support and stand by the mentor when they're feeding back to parents. She's literally, we've got a student placement book, so students to help with the competencies of finding information out from setting, and there's different ways that they're creating things, and she's really in front. She's just so eager now, and we've just done reviews, haven't we? And she just got an outstanding review, especially for year one as well. It's brilliant. But like we've got because it's a bigger cohort this year, there's different students, so you've got some who are really practical, and then you've got some that are amazing at the written work. So obviously we believe, don't we, that the nursery has helped combine those to get them all engaged and all doing different roles and get them out of the comfort zones to help them meet them.
They've all, like I said, been assigned a role, or they've decided on a role themselves based on what they feel that they can bring to the table with this nursery that we've set up. And I think they've got a lot of respect for all the roles that are in an early years setting. And with that, because of the work that they've done, they understand what that role looks like, and they are actively seeking out in placement, putting themselves in those situations to be able to get to that end point, so they are, you know, competent at the end of it all.
So there are things like you've got an appointed manager, haven't you? You've got a deputy manager. Have you got a Senko, different roles like that?
We've got Senko leads, safeguarding leads. We've got a family support worker who comes in. We've obviously got children, staff members.
We do that just in our knowledge based lessons as well. So this year I was doing parent partnership, so kind of bringing that to life again. We all I made up a scenario, a few scenarios, and they all had a different a job role. So we had family support worker, we had social worker, external, internal, and a scenario may have been around a child with complex needs, so lots of potential complex issues. And we had a ball of string, and I read the scenario out, and I was the nursery manager, and then I threw it to another member of the group, and then they discussed what their role would be within that scenario to support that child and the family. And that went round the group, and in the end we had a big web in the middle, so to signify the importance of that partnership working. And then I went round with some scissors and cut those strings, and it really brought it to life, the importance of partnership working. And without that, then there would be no best outcomes for that child. So they really enjoyed that, because we'd done lots of work around the benefits of parent partnership and the importance of it, but actually seeing it in a visual aspect brought that to life. And I'd done that on some training myself previously around domestic violence, and it's always stuck in my head. So it was really powerful, and they still those things they really remember.
Yeah, that's really good. Thank you for sharing that. And I know that you've got a grand opening for your nursery, haven't you, coming up in September? Do you just want to talk a little bit more about that?
We have. So obviously just coming up towards the end of, obviously before the breakup, We've got outside agencies involved, and then in September it's the grand opening, where students have designed their own grand opening. They've designed their own logo for the nursery, and in September they're going to be coming in. They're inviting their managers and the outside agencies who's been involved with us. We're having a grand opening where we're obviously running it as a nursery, and we're going to have different stations where the students will be at, and they're going to explain about policies and procedures, safer sleeping, nappy changing, and obviously the managers can then obviously ask them questions and share their experience with us to embed that knowledge on the competencies. So a bit like a networking as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that's good, because then you'll have all your nursery managers, and then they'll have more information about what to expect from the students, what competency they've got to meet, so it all ties in really well.
Absolutely.
Sounds good. Brilliant. Thank you.
We've got a fake Ofsted inspector as well. So a lady I know is an Ofsted inspector, and she's coming out the first week back in September, isn't she? And she's going to do, so obviously we're going to operate the nursery, and she's going to come out and do a fake Ofsted inspection. Obviously not a real one, where she's going to ask them questions to help support the competencies and what Ofsted look like, and obviously the criteria to help meet that competency as well.
Yeah, great.
Wow, it's all happening. The first thing I want to say is well done, because I think the experiences that you're giving to each and every student that's doing the T-level is fantastic. So not only can we clearly see the links between theory and practice, which I know is at the core of what you're doing and why you're doing it, but the practice to be able to apply those skills isn't always something that can happen within the classroom environment. You're perhaps looking at something, you're reading about something, you're being able to recall that as to what it is and why we do it, but not how we do it, and seeing things in context in the classroom and gaining the confidence to be able to then apply it in real life, I think is an absolute privilege. So, well done. I'm excited. I want to come. I want to see it. So you've made things feel very, very exciting. And I don't think there's a greater model than the one that you've just explored and explained there in terms of the experiences that we give to our students. So thank you. I've just got a couple of questions really that I'm asking, I suppose, on behalf of people, on other assessors and on other people that are planning delivery around those competencies. And that's, how do you approach that in terms of how, are we planning for so many different competencies in one plan? How do you actually put your plans together that helps you decide this is how we're going to observe our students against assignment 2 part 1? What do you do?
Yeah, so to ensure obviously the full coverage of the competencies, we have designed 4 observations with PDs included. However, as we've been going through them, we could be considering a 5, just for time scale and to get everything in, and to ensure that within the time that they can fully meet those competencies in there as well.
Okay, fantastic. And I think, there's no hard and set rule as far as that's concerned. Again, I'm just speaking on behalf of people that are listening, and whether they're thinking about, oh, this is what NCFE require. It is entirely at your discretion, but that's what you've found from your experience works the best for you and your students.
It is, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, do you want to share just a little bit about what's in a couple of the plans, or how have you linked the criteria together for holistic observations?
Yeah, so over the 4 observations, we've got positive relationships, behaviour and communication, then an enabling environment, a literacy and maths one, and then routine activity, health, safety and safeguarding and well-being.
Yeah, they sound good, and you found that they've linked quite well together with that criteria in the professional discussion elements.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, good. Thank you.
Well done. It's all very inspiring. So thank you. And if, that's the message I think that we are relaying in this chat today to people that are listening, just to be inspired by what can be done and what can be achieved, and that positive mindset that you're taking. If you were given any tips, any suggestions, any hints to anybody else in this position or earlier on in their journey, perhaps with the T-level journey, is there anything that each of you would would bring forward as to, wish I'd known this then, or you know, this is the best thing that we do, this bit?
Invest time in building relationships and maintaining relationships with your placement settings. So important. They're a big part of it, aren't they? And it's not just for the learners to go there and see and look at role models and learn over there. It's them being invested in that for the students, because of obviously the importance of it, and it needs to be mirrored almost. The enthusiasm that they get in college as well. So that absolutely, just building them relationships, maintaining clear communication.
Definitely clear communication, and involved placement as well. Involved placement, keep them in loop.
Because I think placements need that confidence building as well. You know, placements who've not done this before, it's an overwhelming experience. So it's about them building that confidence. So us providing, you know, that support and guidance and building those relationships is vital.
Knowing their role almost of what they have to bring to the table for students.
And then allowing the students, I'd also say allowing the students to practice the competencies, obviously, hence the nursery. There is a lot of competencies. All students are all different and all at different levels and all at different abilities. So I think from the beginning, just embed it in there and allow them to have a messy play activity or have a role play changing nappies. It's about it, isn't it?
Yeah, I wanted to say as well about if you can, use your own network. So bring in your guest speakers, let the learners listen to somebody else, somebody who's in that role, let them have that message from somebody else who's you know, they can bring their expertise in, and so get as much of that done as you possibly can.
I think in like embedding reflection as well into all activities, so not just assessments. We need to try and not enforce is the wrong word, but encourage reflective practice, because it's something that's so important, and it can sometimes be waylaid. So it's about, you know, helping them become really reflective practitioners, and, you know, helping that become part of the early practitioner that they're going to be. So not just for assessment, so, you know, carry that and then reflect on it, being reflective all the time.
To help with professional
professional discussions, and just being a good practitioner. That's you know, that's really big part of the role.
I think that you're giving them lots of evidence, aren't you, to then draw on, lots of experiences to draw on. So when they're having professional discussions for part 1 and part 2, they think, oh yeah, I did that, and this is how it relates. Theory to practice. Yeah, it's really good.
They've said that, haven't they? They've recognised that they've done that, and they've recognised themselves that it's helped them with their assessments.
It's fantastic, isn't it? Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, so Emma, Gaynor, Shelley, keep up the good work. It's obviously working well. And thank you very much for sharing all of that insight with the colleagues on the call today. Thank you.
Thank you.